Hello everybody, it's me Scoop, here with a new crazy ass microphone. I mean, look at this thing. I got this for my birthday, man. I'm hyped to use this thing. And, you know, besides the microphone I got going on, so I feel like a professional YouTuber now, man. I'm in the big leagues. I have a microphone. Yay! I would like to welcome you to another episode of Scoop's Quest for the Best, the show where I talk about my favorite movies that I've ever seen and try to figure out which one's my favorite. And today, we're going to be discussing one of the OGs of this list. I just hit the microphone, sorry buddy. This Is the End, directed by Seth Rogan and Evan Goldberg. Now this movie, I know it might not sound like a certain Quest for the Best type of entry, especially because it didn't get the best reviews, didn't get the best box office returns. I don't know why. I freaking love this movie. So, I think before we actually start breaking down the movie, I should probably let you guys know that all the actors are playing themselves, which sounds kind of weird, but I think it works really well. It leads to a lot of pretty solid jokes, and I really like that about the movie, because it's kind of a unique idea. I don't really see a lot of actors just playing kind of caricatures of themselves in their own movies, and I kind of like that they're able to poke fun at themselves like that. But the studio wasn't that happy about it, so they made them film a version where they could, I keep hitting the freaking microphone, where they could shoot around and edit around the fact that they're playing themselves in the movie, which I don't know how that works. I don't know how you could just edit around the characters' names, but either way, they didn't do a very good job.
Hey, Seth Rogan, what up, man?
So, right from the get-go, you can see Jay is obviously acting pretty cray-cray. He's not acting cray-cray. He's just very childish and excitable. He's like a 16-year-old, which comes up, you know, later in the movie as part of the conflict. And I kind of like that it's established right away, but I'll get into later that it kind of causes some overall problems for Jay's character as the film progresses. But yeah, they do set it up right away. It's just a little aggressive. There's some generally good friend talk, I guess, going on. I think all the actors have a really good rapport. That's an SAT word right there. They have a really good rapport with each other, the way they play off each other, just the general moment-to-moment conversations in this movie feel really real, which I know most movies pull off, but there's just something about this movie where it almost feels like you're watching how if you just stuck these actors in a house, how they would kind of get along with each other. Of course, they're more exaggerated versions of themselves, but I don't know, it just feels really natural and not supernatural like the villain of this movie. But honestly, as the party progresses, Jay does act, like I said, just too childish. They need to dial it back. By the way, copyright music #1. And especially when you get to this part about Jay not wanting to go to the party, he doesn't even sound like a 16-year-old. He sounds like a 3-year-old. He's just kind of annoying, and it's right off the bat of the film. And I'm just not the biggest fan. But Seth could be my boy, though. We could hang. Seth Rogan, if you watch this video, I am actually a really, really big fan. I know you're not going to see this video, because why would you? But if by some miracle you do, call me, bro. We'll hang. And we get a line that will be reincorporated later into the story.
For you, I will go.
Notice the "for you" because that will come up later and be very artistically creative and good. As they walk into the party, we get copyright music #2. I'm assuming. I don't really know the song, but yeah, I'm assuming it's copyrighted. And when they walk into the house, the opening of this movie is rough. When they walk into the house, James Franco calling him Johnny, that's a little forced. I'm not gonna lie. I think the problem with this movie is that the characters are too caricatured right at the start, and it kind of puts a bad taste in your mouth. But honestly, if you watch the rest of the movie, they get way better as it goes along, and they get way more humanized, and it's just better. Give the movie a chance. It's really good. Don't worry. It starts off not that strong, but it gets good. And while at this party, we get sex joke #1.
You let us both come inside you. Yeah.
And sex joke #2.
Your mama's was the canvas, your dad's was the paintbrush. Boom, you're the art.
Yes, I will be keeping track of that along with copyright music, because don't worry, there's a lot of sex jokes. Let's just get this out of the way. Like I said, James Franco, at the start of the movie, he's kind of annoying. He's not the best for most of the movie, which is kind of the point of his character. You know, he's supposed to be that Hollywood elitist, thinks he's some super genius art guy. When he's James Franco, he's a good actor, but he's James Franco. He did Pineapple, okay? Like I said, I love, that's just something that elevates the movie for me, that these guys know who they are and what they are, and they can this is really bothering me. rise you know what I'm trying to say. They can make fun of themselves and like play it up, and they understand it, and that's, it makes me like them as actors better. Oh, Michael, no, Michael, don't do that.
Is that Jay Bear Show?
Jay Bear Show. I don't even know what is that even supposed to mean, Jay Bear Show? Or he just said his name a little weirdly, and I don't actually know how to pronounce his last name, Jay Barshow. Jay Bear. And we get a bit of an exposition dump.
He's your old friend. We're your new friends. He feels threatened,
I gotta ask, like, watching these scenes with like Kevin Hart and Jason Segel, like, is this really awkward when you're standing there like making fun of yourself as an actor for comedic value in a movie? I just feel like writing these scenes just has to be really awkward, and then like imagine being Seth Rogen writing the scene and then being like, Jason Segel, I know you do all these like really crappy sitcoms, you want to make fun of yourself? And he's just like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. Like, I don't know if that's how it worked. I can't really imagine it being that blunt, but at the same time I can't imagine being that different. So it kind of like, it's hard to watch this movie as a movie because all the people are playing themselves, but at the same time I kind of like it. So it's really divisive, which I think is piece of burp. Another reason why a lot of people actually didn't really like the movie, because I could see how that could take you out of the movie like kind of easily. So it works for me most of the time. I just think in these early scenes it's a little distracting for sure. And we get some aggressively weird foreshadowing at this movie, like this bit about the railing.
You could fall off this fucking railing.
That can't be. That's why you have the railing, so they don't fall.
And I don't really know. It's really weird that they foreshadow so much stuff like that, because it's kind of unnecessary, especially rewatching the movie. It's really obvious.
And Danny eats me.
Why does he eat you?
I don't know, I'm just trying to think of like the nastiest way to go.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't really expect it from this movie. So I don't know, I'll give the movie points, but it's kind of just unnecessary.
Hey, does this Coke smell funny?
McLovin! Guys, it's McLovin! And then we get this scene that I think is pretty funny. Let's just say they sing an inappropriate song. We get sex joke number 3.
Take your panties off.
But then we get Jay being inconsistent, because normally if he's supposed to be this like stupid 16-year-old who just wants to play games and get high, he would definitely be into this song. I recently turned 17 actually. I am a 16, 17-year-old. I'm in the demographic that Jay is pretty much acting like. And if people start doing this at a party, let's be honest, I would get into it. So I feel like it's weird that this is the time where Jay is like, no, I'm too good for that, I'm too cool for this business. Like, that's unnecessary. And then, of course, we get sex joke number 4, which is kind of gross and aggressive, and I think I have to censor this, so we're gonna, yeah, there's a lot of sex jokes, guys. We're just getting started here. So anyway, our two protagonists decide to leave the party, go get some cigarettes, some snacks at a convenience store, and at this point, we actually get something kind of interesting. I like that Jay is supposed to, like I said, be this like kind of teenager, he's not really like sucking up to like the Hollywood type of lifestyle, which we see, which, like I said, at the beginning is kind of annoying because he's too aggressive about it, but he's actually the only one who can see through Jonah, and this comes up throughout the movie. Jonah's supposed to be like this amazing, super, like, spectacular, nice guy, and like everyone describes him that way, including himself, but Jay sees through it right away, which is actually kind of interesting and sets up a lot of the conflict for when they're actually stuck in the house together. And at this point, we see the gigantic beams of blue light sucking people up into the sky, as the film so eloquently puts it, but as we come to find out, it's the rapture because it's the biblical apocalypse, which is a really cool concept I have not seen done well in a movie before this, so I appreciate that. And I would like to say, I think the art style and the general design of the special effects and the apocalyptic stuff in this movie is actually like incredible. Like, I just love this vibe of like this big black sky and just fire everywhere, these huge blue beams. Like I said, it looks like an alien invasion. All the demons look sick, but the actual effects themselves are kind of dog shit, let's be honest. This did not age well, and as the movie goes on, you get some really heavy reliance on special effects, and except for a couple of mostly, or like, 100% VFX shots, didn't age well. But, I mean, what are you gonna do? It's a 2013 mid-budget film, so like, And so our two characters not being raptured because obviously the plot has to happen, run back to James Franco's house. And I kind of like this because the movie technically calls attention to it, but it doesn't really point this out. Like, none of the other actors or anyone at the party has any idea that, like, the apocalypse is going on. They didn't feel the earthquake or anything. And James Franco was like, no, this place is a fortress. That's why we didn't feel anything. But no one at the party got raptured. I think, like, the point of the bottomless pit that opens up right after this in the front yard is because they have all these horrendous people here. That I like to think of it as, like, this, not that this party brought on the apocalypse, but, like, this gathering of, like, so many terrible people in one spot is, like, why the pit just, like, opened up right there, and it was like, I'm gonna kill 30 birds with one bottomless pit and just get all of you at once. Like, especially this little detail of how this initial crack of the bottomless pit comes straight out of Michael Cera's foot, because he's, like, a freaking demon at this party. No pun intended, actually. That was really kind of cringe. I wish I didn't say that. Like, this is just, like, there's kind of small details in this movie every once in a while, like, the stuff like that just kind of makes me smile when I think about it. Like, it's kind of funny without being, like, a sex joke, even though this movie has way too many of those. Also, we get sex joke number 6 as they walk into the party.
To this guy. Nobody got sucked up in here.
I got sucked off here.
And I gotta say, at this point, Seth does something kind of weird. Like, it fits his personality on the surface, but he denies, he disagrees with Jay that, like, everyone got sucked up by these big blue beams of light. But, like, why? Like, they would see this all over the news because it actually happened if they didn't think it was the end of the world. All these people just got, like, abducted by aliens or sucked up into the sky or whatever. That would be all over the news for, like, a year. So Seth has literally no reason to lie to them because it did happen and they would find out about it. So it's kind of just weird. Like, I get why, but I don't get why. You know what I mean? Am I making sense? Hey look, Freaks and Geeks. And as the bottomless pit opens up and swallows our characters, and as the characters then go inside and board up the house, I just want to get this point out of the way because I mentioned it a lot in my notes I have up here. Most of I would say the first half around, I think maybe at least the first third, feels really like YouTube-y. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know what it is. Like, everything just feels like a prop in a set. Like, all the house and all the, like, the lamppost, I don't know what it is. It just feels so stilted and just fake and set-like, which I don't think was intentional. Like, these special effects, the way that they're done, like, right when the characters go inside, this helicopter crashes and shoots, like, this beam through the wall right before everyone boards up the house. Like, the way they do the effect where the helicopter's all the way out the window and it's, like, kind of blurred, you can't really see it, and then the beam shoots across the screen and there's, like, motion blur and a whip pen and all this stuff to, like, hide it. It just makes it look kind of amateurish, which, like I said, does go away as the movie goes on, but that combined with these weirdly inconsistent characters does definitely take some points away from the movie at the beginning. And once again, there's a lot of, like, creativity with the design in this movie, like how they later go on to describe, you know, the sinkhole in the front yard as the bottomless pit from, you know, the Bible. And if you actually watch a lot of the characters fall to the bottom, it really is bottomless. Like, they never hit the bottom. They hit, like, this layer of flame, basically, and then they just keep falling until they're, you know, so far away you can't see them on screen. And it's the small details like that in this movie that I really appreciate. I also like this movie does over serious really, really well, like the scene with Jay trying to save a guy while they're both, like, hanging on the edge of the pit. Just this over the top, no. Like, makes me crack up every time, and the movie escalates this really well as it goes on. Sorry, even, like, thinking about Jay's face with, like, the zoom. We also get a little bit of Jonah characterization with his, you know, vain, not actually caring about other people personality, where he's the one who knocks Jay into the pit and does absolutely nothing to try to help him. But the second Jay's inside and they're all safe and everything's fine, he's like, oh my god, Jay, are you okay? I'm Jonah Hill, I have a goddamn earring. You know, it's a good detail. Stuff like that. Like I said, it's the characterization picks up pretty fast. We get sex joke number 7. It's this weird running gag. I don't even want to say it. They say it so many times in this movie. I don't like this gag. They do it so many times.
When I was a kid, I had man titties. The bullies held me down. They kitty me.
That's what's happening out there right now!
I don't know why they think this joke is funny. It's really not funny. I don't like it. It's really uncomfortable, but they do it a lot. Actually, it was funny one time.
Oh, no! Oh, you, Seth. Oh, titty!
me!
What are they, big B's or small C's? I'm gonna push your titties together. Push them together!
And we get copyright music numero 3 as they board up the house. And even if I think this is probably the most amateurish looking part of the film, which possibly could be part of the point, I don't really know. They do that gag later where they make the Pineapple 2 trailer, but you know, whatever. I don't think it was intentional. I just love this scene because like it's just like slow and kind of goofy. Like a lot of these guys, they're kind of like they're good friends, but they're in like this really awkward situation where you can tell obviously none of them want to like be trapping themselves with a house and each other. And so the like seriousness, the movie, like I said, the movie either does like over the top for comedy or they kind of underplay it for comedy here, where it's like all of their friends just died and now they're boarding themselves up in the house and there's looting and rioting and they have no idea what's going on. They're just like, hey, can you hand me that poster? It's funny to me. I don't know what it is. I just really like it. I especially love right after that the taking stock of their supply scene. This is another scene. There's a couple scenes in this movie that always crack me up. The no always cracks me up. I just generally love the boarding up scene. And this scene makes me laugh so hard because just the way they edit it with like the weird like whipping noise at the one point with the zoom and just how much alcohol and drugs there are and how little actual food and supplies they have makes me laugh.
CT Crunch.
I don't know who decided to start calling it CT Crunch. I now call it CT Crunch because it's just better. And then we get our first of what I'm going to call the friend scenes, which usually are pretty good. There might be one or two weak ones in here. But it's basically these scenes where everyone is kind of just standing around talking. Like there's not a lot of plot going on. It's not even that funny necessarily. They're kind of just, they're filler, but I enjoy them. I really like when movies have these slow scenes of just characters playing off each other. I watch deleted scenes. Most of these friend scenes have so much stuff that got left on the cutting room floor, like 20 minutes overall. Some of it actually could have been added into the movie that I think would have made it a little bit better, even if the running time did hit 2 hours. Hello, water bottle. But, I mean, you know, I think it's fair what they cut.
A Milky Way.
I don't know if this was product placement, because it's like that aggressive that I feel like it couldn't be product placement. It just had to be some gag that they're like, what if there's a Milky Way and when they're taking stock, everyone just wants the Milky Way and they're all obsessed with it. And then at the end of the movie, we bring back the Milky Way and the characters just talk about how good it is. Like, it's just so random and like actually hilarious that it probably is product placement. They probably give them so much money and it could have been anything. It could have been like a Three Musketeers. It could have been a Hershey bar and Milky Way paid up for it. But I don't know. I don't really care. It makes me laugh. I just feel like Milky Way specifically is the best option. Like, if they were doing it with a Hershey bar, I just feel like it wouldn't be as funny. But it's like, the Milky Way. No, like, they sound like a 4-year-old.
What? Your LBS starts acting up, you can have a finger scoop of Nutella.
One finger scoop.
Also, side note, Nutella is no substitute for a Milky Way. Okay, come on. Nutella is disgusting. Milky Way, delicious. Get out of here, James Franco. And so now after that first friend scene, we get our first, like, actual apocalypse, like, surviving in the house scene, where basically Jay is having this little couch bed area, and one by one all the characters except for James Franco start invading his area, and they all start talking to each other. And this scene is actually really enjoyable because it kind of flips the switch on the whole movie. When Seth initially is approaching Jay, it's actually really weird and creepy and suspenseful. Like, you have no idea what it's gonna be, and it's just Seth. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the movie does a good job. Like, when it goes hard, it goes hard. That was suspenseful. It also builds an apocalyptic mystery where Jay is like, I think this is the biblical judgment day, and Seth is like, dude, what are you talking about? And the first time I watched this movie, it came out in 2013. I saw it maybe 2014, 2015. I was like 10 or 11, so I didn't even know what foreshadowing was or like hinting at plot. I just took movies at surface value. So, to me, actually revealing it was like the real biblical apocalypse was kind of cool the first time. Rewatching it, I don't see why it wouldn't have been that, because like that would be a weird discussion for it to just be something totally different. And they don't really make that many jokes about what it would be outside of when, you know, later, what's her name, Hermione shows up. They make a joke or two about what they all think it is, but it's never really in the actual movie. So, yeah. But I still think it does a good job of like making you feel like, yeah, this is like the end of the world. Like, these guys are stuck in this house. They gotta survive. Like, this is funny, but like there's some stress there, which is great, that's what you want out of a movie like this. I also feel like not only is the general movie's switch flips from this kind of like goofy comedy with not a lot of weight or stakes or emotion to it, but Jay himself seems to get flipped. He's moved away from this like weird, emotional, annoying 16-year-old type of character, and he's kind of mellowed out a bit more. Like, he's still emotional, like he's one of the more emotional characters in the household, which, you know, stirs up drama, makes it more exciting, but he's more reasonable now, and he's actually concerned about what's going on. Like, he's the one taking it the most seriously, which makes his more emotional outburst more, I guess, acceptable from a character standpoint, so that's good. We'll take that. And we get copyright music numero 4 with Danny McBride showing up. And once again, I don't know what it is about the scene. I can't pinpoint one thing, but Danny McBride getting up and just walking across the house and being, like, wasting all the food and cooking on this meal. I don't know what it is, but I freaking love that scene. We get sex jokes 8, 9, 10 from Danny McBride, just rapid firing over here.
You got white shit all over your mouth, Frankie. You probably sucked somebody's Jonah over here, probably watched and jerked off. We didn't suck each other's James Franco didn't suck any last night. Now I know y'all are tripping.
And once again, we get this really weird meta writing about, like, being Academy Award nominated and giving bad performances in certain movies. And I just can't help but wonder, is this really weird to film? Danny specifically calls out Seth for having a weak performance in a specific movie. Like, I don't know, like, that just feels like it would be really awkward to film for me. Also, this scene of this guy sticking his head through the hole, pretty funny. Once again, kind of shows the stakes while being disgusting and hilarious. Like, the scene is so funny, but the man got his head chopped off by some monster outside. Like, we have no idea what could have done that or how this is possible. So, once again, the movie does a good job of balancing, like, you're laughing and you're enjoying yourself, but then when you stop and think for half a second, you're like, wow, this is serious shite going on, okay? And at this point, if you ask me, the plot is thick with 5 C's. You got all 6 dudes in the house. You got drama stirring. You got the mystery of the apocalypse going on outside. You got all the plot's going good. I'm enjoying the movie.
A bunch of South Americans getting sucked into the ground.
Sinkhole de Mayo.
Sinkhole de Mayo, that's why it's named that.
Sinkhole de Mayo. That joke never gets old. I also, once again, when this movie goes hard, it goes hard. Like, when Jay has the Bible open and he's reading everything out.
That's the rapture. Those are the gigantic beams of blue light. And there will be a great mountain burning in fire. I mean, the Hollywood Hills are literally engulfed in flames as we sit here right now.
The Hollywood Hills ain't no mountain, it's a hill.
It's just funny, because it's like, no one really is taking it seriously, but it is serious at the same time. I keep repeating this point, but the movie keeps showing it off, so I feel like I should, you know, tell you guys, because I really kind of shat on it at the beginning. And we get sex joke number 12.
Hey guys, I'm going to sleep now. Nobody come in here and bother me.
Some more hints that James is pretty suspicious. Copyright music number 5. Then we get arguably one of the best jokes in the movie, this Pineapple Express 2 trailer that they make in the house. And this is where I really start to wonder why the opening of this movie felt so amateur, because they make this look so bad on purpose that making something look this bad actually means that you have to know how to make it look really good and then kind of flip it. So if they know how to make something look this horrendous, then why does the beginning look so amateur? I don't really get why it's like that. I don't have an explanation for you, but it's just weird. Also, fuck your highness, that movie sucks.
We should make sequels to more of our movies.
How about we not do Your Highness too?
So anyway, at this point, Emma Watson breaks into the house because obviously, I don't know why she came back to James Franco's house specifically, especially because she said she was gone for a few days, and that was just weird to me, but, you know, I'll overlook it, whatever. But what I think is actually worse is that this movie has no sense of time. Like, she says she hid for days and then made her way back to his house, but we have actually no idea how long this movie actually takes place over. It could be weeks, it could be like a couple of days. The first time I watched it, I thought it was maybe 4 or 5 days. But if she's just hiding out alone by herself for days, then who knows how long they're in here overall. Which I think is actually a bigger issue than it might seem, because when you have a movie like this that's very preoccupied with the idea of the characters are running low on supplies and they gotta restock and they're getting, you know, cabin fever, it's important to establish a sense of time, which this movie really does not have. And that's actually kind of a big issue. Like, it's one you can overlook, but when you stop to think about it, it does hurt the movie. And here's the point where we get those jokes about, you know, what kind of apocalypse it might be, but that's really all that they bring it up, and eventually they all just do come around and accept that it is the biblical apocalypse. Which sounds so cool, man. I just want to keep saying biblical apocalypse. Then we get this scene of Emma Watson going to chill in a room, and Jay tries to give everyone a message about what they should or shouldn't do. With Emma Watson, that would definitely get me demonetized if I say the word, but it starts with an R and ends with an ape. Weirdly enough, we get some good social commentary here, where no one was even thinking about this except for Jay, and Jay's the one who said it out loud, and now everyone is thinking about it. So, I think the lesson is, if something maybe could possibly be an issue, but it's not currently an issue, stop talking about it. You're just gonna make it a bigger issue. This PSA brought to you by Scoop Reviews. You know, I just realized, why do I care about getting demonetized? I'm not monetized anyway. Let's do a demontage.
Rapey.
Jay couldn't rape a fly.
Rape, true.
And at this point, Emma Watson hears the demontage word, we'll just say, and decides she's just gonna steal all their drinks and peace out. So now someone has to go outside, go around back, and get water from the basement because James Franco is too cool to just have a staircase to his basement like a normal person. So Craig Robinson, they play this match game, he loses, he has to go get it. And like I said, we know it's probably the biblical apocalypse at the side, but while he's out there, he sees and gets vaguely attacked. Basically, he gets back inside, but it grabs his string thing because they do that, the mist thing, you know, with the rope. And like I said, we know it's the biblical apocalypse, but we don't know what that means or what could be out there unless, you know, you're an avid studier of the Bible. So, yeah, like, you know, it's something biblical, demonic related, but you don't know what that means or what it could look like or what it's capable of or what's really gonna happen. So it keeps the escalation building and it keeps it exciting, which is really good. I feel like this is a pretty solid scene of establishing that the movie gets way more intense as it goes on. It gets a lot darker. Like, all of this part of Craig getting, you know, stuck at the door because the demon's pulling on that rope wire thing, like, it's funny, but it's actually damn stressful to watch, man. Like, the way Danny is screaming and there's just frantic energy and the demon is roaring outside, and look at Daniel Craig's face, man, and the way he slams against the door, like, that looks so painful. And like I said, at this point, it doesn't look like when the movie goes hard at this point, it goes hard, and this is a scene where it goes hard, man. So they decide instead, you know, let's just break a hole in the floor. That makes more sense than, you know, going around back because the door is messed up, which, to be fair, kind of does, but at the same time, they're getting thirsty while they're trying to get water. Dogs, would you mind shutting your mouths? So I don't really want to talk about this scene. It's kind of nasty. If you watch this movie, you'll know what scene I'm referring to. Let's just say it involves a scandalous magazine and semen.
Jizz, and ejaculate, jizz, come, loads, come.
I kind of lost track of the sex jokes in the scene. My notes just say sex jokes 3000 and skip to sex joke number 23 after that, so that's a vague count. There's one line from this scene. There's one line that stands out for me.
You designed a house with fucking iPads in the walls. Yet you're jerking your dick like a goddamn pilgrim.
Absolute treasure. Like, who came up with that? That is horrendous. And I also like that, even though we kind of hear later from Danny McBride, of all people, that Jay is probably faking at this point, it does at least seem on the surface that he's trying to be better. Like, he's trying to revitalize his relationship with Seth, which I'm assuming is what he thinks is what's holding him back. It's just nice to see these two guys, you know, hanging out, reminiscing, having some fun before they crash to the floor and get that water. And when we get copyright music, number 6. And at this point, I would just like to say, Jonah actually does bring up a solid point through this weird nice guy facade thing. But at the same time, his point is just that Danny is just, you know, he's not handling it well because he kind of knows that everyone doesn't really like him or want him there. So it makes it harder to just be trapped there and try to get along. But this is about survival. Like, he kind of has to put that aside. And he clearly just won't, which we see later, that he does not give a shit about no one. So it was smart that they kick him out of the house in this scene. And once again, pretty freaking nuts of a scene, I would like to say. Like, once the movie goes hard, it goes hard. What can I say? I said it once, I said it 1,000 times. Also, we get sex jokes 23 and 24.
I wouldn't just suck on my mama's titties. I would fucking bang them and motorboat them. Everything I've been doing, it's just been a cry for help. When I came on your magazine, James, it was a come for help.
And just another thing about Danny here is I love how over-the-top evil this man is. Like, he is cold, calculating, and manipulative. Like, he's snooping around the house all the time, and he's just ready to, like a Zoidberg, like, just shoot his, ink everywhere when he goes into full defense mode. And it actually works. Like, he freaking wrecks everything because he does a good job. Also, this scene, I just really want Jonah to shut up. Like, he gets so pretentious at this point. But then he dies right after this, so it's fine. So basically what happens to Jonah is he prays to God that Jay dies because he hates Jay so much. And this scene is kind of funny, but it makes me question, is Jonah really putting up this front facade nice guy? Or does he actually think he is this really nice guy and he's just dumb as a rock and doesn't get it? Because it's just him and his thoughts, alone talking to God. Like, he has no reason to lie when he says this ridiculous stuff.
I think he might be the worst person you ever created. I don't want to judge you, but what's up?
But at the same time, he can't really believe this, can he? Like, he can't be that inept. Also, I would just like to say, this scene of the demon possessing Jonah Hill scared the crap out of me when I was a kid, man. I escaped this scene every time. This demon with the grunting noises and the red eyes and the claws, and Jonah just being dead asleep and having no idea, scared me so much. Do you know how many times it took me to watch this movie before I saw the penis joke in this scene? So many, man. Like, way too many times. So, like I said, when the movie goes hard, it goes hard. It's a good movie. I don't know what to tell you. Sex joke number 25, by the way, with everything that happens with that demon, so. And just, I don't know, random side note here about where Seth is the one who loses this match game to go get more supplies and just decides no, he's not going, is that Seth doesn't really have much of a character. Like, I can't really put that many traits on him. I can't put an arc on him or anything, really. He's just, like, he's fine. Rogan he's a good enough actor that the character has, some charisma to him, some entertainment value, just generally enjoyable, because I just love Seth Rogen that much. But the character doesn't have a whole lot going on for, one of the two leads, which I feel like is kind of weird, but it's whatever, I'll take it. And so, when Danny and Jay decide to head out, we're just left with Seth, James, and Jonah back at home, and Jonah gets possessed by a demon and turns into a zombie. I mean, he's not really a zombie. I just consider him a zombie because of, like, the grunting and groaning noises, and they make a joke about it earlier in the movie that Danny thinks that the grunting and groaning has to be zombies. But, I mean, I guess it's not, it's possessed people. But the way he's, like, blue and veiny, and he, like, hisses, just kind of seems zombie-ish to me. I don't know. And we get the Milky Way back, so that's a good bit of a callback to earlier that I liked.
What was that? Let's eat, bro.
Yeah, no. I also like that we get this scene where Jay and Craig have gone to a different house to get more supplies and bring them back, and Jay is actually, he thinks it's a better idea to just keep the supplies for themselves and board up this house and stay there instead, which I like how now that all the walls are down, we see that Jay is kind of a backstabber, and he, like, as much as he tries to, like, tell everyone that he's, like, the smart one, he knows what's up, and he's gonna be the first one out, he's kind of one of the worst guys in there. Like, they're all pretty equally bad except for Craig. He's the only one that comes by his character change, honestly, on his own, and that's probably why I think most people watching this are gonna attach to his character the most. Like, he is hilarious. He is straight up lovable, son. Okay? I love him. He's an angel. Also, sex joke number 26.
What are they, big B's or small C's? I'm gonna push your titties together. Push them together!
So basically, we get these two back-to-back demon attack scenes, which, do I need to repeat myself about what these scenes do and how the movie acts when it needs to? I don't think so. I think I've said it enough. These are both great scenes, pretty suspenseful, and I like how it's, like, super, once again, it does this, like, escalation and then just undercut it with comedy, where, like, they're all like, what are we gonna do? Oh my god, look, it's zombie Jonah Hill, and then the music builds and they're all screaming, and then Jay just right in the head with a baseball bat, out. That's it, done. So then they lock him up. They realize, yes, it is the biblical apocalypse. And then we actually get this really sweet moment where Craig and mostly just Craig. I mean, I guess Franco kind of does. He says like one of the worst things he did. I don't really think that's the sole reason why he got left back, but I really do think Craig gouged a guy's eyes out. That's really gross and violent and kind of scary, to be honest. That is big enough to be the sole reason why he is left behind, because I think he really is a good person, and he's, like I said, the only one that comes by his redemption honestly and just does it for the sake of becoming a better person and not knowing he would get raptured. So I like that it kind of puts this theme into the movie about how one bad act doesn't define you and you can always change and do better. And I just think that's kind of a cool message to throw into this like stupid action comedy. I'm going to be honest. I like it. Good job. So we're going to skip ahead a little bit. This scene of exorcising the demon out of Jonah Hill is goddamn hilarious. This has to be one of the funniest scenes in film history, if you ask me. It's that good.
Does it compel me?
The power of Christ compels you.
Does it, Jay? Seriously, it hurts a little bit. It's like a little sting.
They literally have Jay make a cross and yell, "The power of Christ compels you." But like I think I'm thinking about this too much, but like if that means Jesus Christ, you know, because it starts working is like he was the Son of God or however it is that it works. Like, does that mean Jews were just kind of wrong? Like, that's kind of awkward. How does God feel about that? I mean, he redeemed Seth Rogan, so like, does he not care that everyone did that? Or like, how does that work? So, long story short, mid-exorcism, the entire house comes crumbling down because Seth and Jay have this huge argument about, you know, Jay kind of betraying him and how their friendship is falling apart and whatever, so they run outside. This huge demon shows up, and like I said, it looks freaking awesome. I think here the effects age better because there's less of it putting directly against live-action people, except for this one slow-mo shot where once it is directly against live-action people, that does kind of look like doo-doo. So, to reiterate, special effects themselves, pretty not that good, but actual general design and vibe of the effects, fantastic. So, yes, Craig gets raptured. This is an awesome moment with, like, the music building and how you have no idea what's going to happen. He's charging at this demon. For all you know, he's going to die while everyone else escapes. He gets raptured. The demon flies away. The big blue light comes out. He is so happy because he realizes that, like, yeah, he did it. He's a better person just because he could have been a better person, and he did it. So our remaining three protagonists decide, yeah, we gotta be better. We gotta get raptured. We gotta get out of here. It'll be fine. They kind of compliment each other, thinking that that's enough when it's obviously not enough. Then Danny McBride makes a reappearance where we get copyright music number 7 and sex joke number 27.
This is my gimp. Channing, introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up, man? Y'all cool?
Yeah, Danny's back. He's kind of King Cannibal Man now, which is a cool concept. Like, I think I said this earlier, not even totally sure because I've been going for about an hour now, that I would actually love for a movie set, I don't know, maybe with a handful of other actors or just even normal people in this, like, biblical apocalypse, like maybe over the first couple days to see how all the demons, like, emerged and just took out the remaining humans who weren't boarded up in a house like our protagonists of this movie. It's a cool world. It's really, like I said, it's a really exciting world I really enjoy and I would love to see more of at some point. And we're getting to the butt end here. James Franco sacrifices himself and he gets raptured, but then he gets unraptured because...
Go to hell, McBride! F*** you! Suck my...
He kind of just did it for the sake of getting raptured. He didn't really do anything or grow or change or be a better person, which once again ties more into that theme of, like, one bad action doesn't define you, but if you are just a bad person just trying to pretend to be better for the sake of pretending to be better, excuse me for that burp, it's just not a good way to go about it, and it's not going to work. It's not going to make things better. So it's just Seth and Jay left because James Franco gets eaten by Danny McBride because of aggressive foreshadowing, and this huge demon thing comes out. Once again, awesome looking design. The all CGI shots of it look great. The shots of it with Seth and Jay look really not that great. Only question, how does he even see them? I mean, the perspective shots we get, no idea how it's possible. He's got to be like at least 1,000 foot tall. I don't know what the Bible says how big he is, but dang, he do be kind of big though. But in the end, they kind of, you know, they have this nice heartwarming moment where Jay realizes, like, this is the end. Roll credits. He does care about Seth, and he wants Seth to know that he's sorry and what he did wrong, and Jay gets raptured. He tries to carry Seth with him. He lifts Seth up, And it's just this really cute moment where we get this over-dramatic of, it's not going to work. He can't just pull Seth into heaven. Seth has to change on his own. So Seth is like, I don't want to hold you back. Like, this part, it gets a little muddled with who really holds who back in this relationship, because it kind of sounds like Jay is the one holding Seth back. I don't know if the reveal is supposed to be Seth was really holding Jay back. I'm going to be honest, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense, which is really bad from a critical standpoint, because it's kind of the main relationship crux of the movie. But in terms of enjoyment, it doesn't really get in the way, let's be honest. So Seth lets Jay go, and he's about to get eaten by the giant demon, but then he gets raptured, and I Will Always Love You by Mariah Carey blasts, the demon gets ripped in half, they go up into heaven, and this moment, it's just so cute and heartwarming, and it's so cool, and I just really like it, guys. Like, that's all there is to it. I don't want to break this down critically anymore. This is a really cute ending. They go to heaven together, Craig is there, they have a party. That's it, man. Like, copyright music, 8, 9, and 10 right in a row. I don't even care. Like, it's just such a cute, heartwarming ending, and it leaves you feeling good in the end. And that's what I love about film. I love a movie where you can take it as unseriously as you want. You can just sit back, laugh your butt off, and leave the theater feeling good. Like, that's what movies are to me. So, like I said, this movie, I broke it down. It's not that good. I would give it like 5.5 out of 10 critically. Scoop's Quest for the best wise. I adore this thing, and I am gonna give it a crazy 8.5 out of 10. It's not as good of a movie as something like War Dogs or The Founder by a mile, but I just like it more. It makes me happy to watch, you know? It's just funny, it's creative, it's a good movie, and you should go watch it. Thank you all so much for watching, and keep it crispy.